You know, sometimes you want a game that's just a nice, happy place to hang out. And other times you want to be flung into the most hostile environment imaginable and forced into a desperate struggle to stay alive. Well, this week's survival sale is for those times. But if you're looking for something a touch more cheerful, this video is brought to you by WB Games and Multiverses.
If you feel like your life could be improved by a little aquaphobia, then either one of the Subnautica games could be an excellent choice. Both games pop you down onto the wet, wide world of Planet 4546b, where all kinds of mysteries lurk beneath the water. But perhaps more importantly, so do all kinds of horrifying sea monsters. Between these critters and the harshness of your environment, which gets even harsher in the well-chilled sequel, you're going to need to get very, very crafty if you want to survive here long enough to find out what's really going on down on this strange little planet. But the bonus is that the longer you stay alive, the more you'll get to explore. For all its faults, 4546b is an incredible sightseeing location, especially in 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S. So if you fancy splashing some cash on an aquatic adventure, both Subnautica games are available on Xbox Game Pass, and they're also both half price in this week's sale.
Oh, and if Below Zero has you feeling confident about your ability to beat the cold, then Frostpunk Console Edition should definitely be your next stop. This city-building survival game imagines an alternate version of the 19th century in which massive volcanic eruptions have led to a global winter in which most of the planet's population have perished. As the ruler of what could just be the last city on Earth, it's up to you to harness the power of the Industrial Revolution to build a place capable of enduring these harsh new conditions. You're gonna have to make some cold-blooded choices along the way as you work out how to use your reactor's precious energy supply, what to do with those who oppose you, and whether child labor is really as bad as everyone's always saying it is. It is, by the way. With a second Frostpunk game currently in the works, this is the perfect time to take on the challenges of this chilly dystopia, especially as the first game is now 75% off and available on Xbox Game Pass.
But Frostpunk isn't the only grueling battle for survival which 11-bit studios have brought to the table. There's also the final cut of this war of mine. Currently available on Xbox Game Pass and optimized for next-gen consoles, this war of mine drops you into an active war zone and places you in control of a group of average people who are just trying to make it out alive. Doing so will mean choosing who to send out in perilous supply runs and deciding which of the other survivors you encounter can be trusted. In a situation this dire, nothing is black or white. It's a grey world filled with grisly choices to be made, the consequences of which are sure to linger with you for a long time. But if you're up to the challenge, this War of Mine Final Cut is now 25% off.
Okay, next up we've got a duo of games that bring the neon-dripped heat and then some, the Hotline Miami collection. These brutal top-down brawlers take you into the underworld of 80s Miami, where you've decided you've had just about enough of all this crime business. Each level sees you thoroughly outnumbered by vicious armed thugs using whatever comes to hand to dispatch them in a bloody ballet of bullets and blades. The exact reasoning for your rampage will only become more obscured by red mist and neon haze as you progress through the two games, and you'll regularly find yourself wondering what's really going on. But then the phone will go again and you'll have a bunch more people to kill. So if you're happy to shoot first and ask questions later, the Hotline Miami collection is now 60% off.
While other games are hard to survive because of their harsh environments, hostile climates, and sparse resources, Archvale is hard because there are monsters everywhere, just waiting to fill up the screen with deadly projectiles. I mean, they don't call it bullet hell for nothing. Fortunately, you will have the opportunity to fight back with a whole bunch of different weapons to be found and crafted throughout this fantastical realm, ranging from basic bows and swords to all manner of magical implements. Cobble together a build that works for you and hone your skills with your weapon of choice, and you might just be able to turn the tables on your many enemies. You'll find Archvale over on Xbox Game Pass along with a host of other amazing humble games, with more on their way as day one additions. But if you'd prefer to own it outright, you can do so this week for 25% off.
Captain Ashley S. Novak really can do it all. She's a scientist, a commando, and she's just hopped through a one-way portal to a vibrant planet in the far reaches of the galaxy named Galatea 37. Well, now there's just the small job of building a base sophisticated enough to allow further travel between Earth and her new home. Piece of cake. Fortunately, she's not completely alone thanks to a charming yellow mech suit which she calls Mr. Riggs. Old Riggsy is not only durable enough to survive this new environment, but he's also a dab hand at resource harvesting, construction, and should the situation call for it, smashing things into tiny little pieces. And trust me, the situation is definitely going to call for it. Combining both the slow burn strategizing of a base building game with the hectic combat of an action RPG, the Riftbreaker really can do it all too, and it's available now for 30% off, and it's also on Xbox Game Pass.
On top of the survival sale, we've also got a showcase from none other than THQ Nordic to show you, including another game in which survival is far from guaranteed: Wreckfest. The rules of the road have been kicked to the curb in this Demolition Derby-inspired game. After all, why go round your opponents when you could just go through them? It's much easier, and it looks especially spectacular in 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S. It's also one of our favourite games to play on Twitch.
Can't reach me up here. Oh god. Ah! God, it stopped me moving.
The complete edition, which features all of the DLC from Seasons 1 and 2, is available now for 55% off, while you'll find the base game over on Xbox Game Pass.
The 1940s film noir classics are some of the most somberly stylish movies ever made, but you know what none of them have? Talking chicken detectives. So, Chicken Police Paint It Red is here to put things right. Sonny Featherland and Marty McChicken hadn't worked together in years when a case came along that was simply too weird for anyone else to solve. And to get to the bottom of it, they'll need to scour the streets of Clawville for clues and try to get some truth out of its shadiest residents. The game features a gorgeous monochrome art style that boasts photorealistic 3D backgrounds, which are just crying out to be viewed in 4K. Throw in a selection of stunning cutscenes and fully voice-acted cast of characters that includes some 8 hours of dialogue, and you're in for a truly cinematic experience. And on top of the fact that it's 50% off this week, the game is called Chicken Police. Chicken Police, people, come on.
If you can't decide between the story-driven adventuring of an RPG and the tactical stimulation of an RTS, Spellforce 3 Reforced is the perfect way to split the difference. You'll get to design your very own hero and embark upon an epic quest, meeting friends, making enemies, and doing all that good quest stuff along the way. But you'll also have to pick between the orc, human, and elf factions, providing your troops for battle and leading them out onto the field. Very much the player-manager role of the medieval fantasy world. Reforced delivers all of this, as well as a whole mess of enhancements and added modes, with Journey Mode alone containing 20 hours of unique content and a ton of replay value. The complete edition then throws in the Soul Harvest and Fallen God DLC for good measure, and the whole thing is 30% off in this week's sale.
Sine Mora EX is a side-scrolling shooter that whisks you away to a diesel punk world where you'll be battling your way through the skies, shooting down all sorts of mechanical monstrosities. As a bullet hell game, this is another title where you can expect to see the screen rapidly filling up with bad guys and all the bad stuff they're flinging in your direction, but that's not the only trick it has up its sleeve when it comes to testing your nerves. Rather than the traditional health system, Sine Mora EX fits each level with a time limit which decreases faster as you take damage. The only way to build it back up is to shoot other folks out of the sky, so if you woke up today and chose violence, well, this might just be the game for you. Oh yeah, and it's had a massive 90% blast off its price tag. Cheeky.
If you're looking not just to survive, but to thrive, then consider picking up any of the amazing games in this week's sale. Be sure to let us know exactly which of these hostile environments you'll be exposing yourself to down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more survival tips. This video was brought to you by Multiverses, the free-to-play platform fighter that lets you team up with iconic characters like Batman, Arya Stark, Shaggy, Bugs Bunny. All of your favorites are here as you fight to save the multiverse. Pair up your favorites in Multiverses 2v2 mode and find which dynamic duo works best for you. Multiverses supports crossplay and cross-progression across its available platforms, and with even more characters, maps, modes, and cosmetics coming over the following months, you'll want to get in on the ground floor now. Multiverses is free to play, so go give it a go. See you next time.
Computer, strange energy signature detected. What's my location?
Hey, dude! What's going on here?
Where am I? What's up, Doc?
Look out!
Hey!